Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, the editor-in-chief of Total Retail, and I'm pleased to be joined on this episode by Toral Patel, who is the Vice President of Marketing and E-commerce at Kopari Beauty. We're going to talk to Toral about Kopari Beauty's social influencer strategy, is a little bit about the content it's producing for its beauty enthusiasts on its different social platforms, as well as its own website, of course, and just kind of get a little bit of better understanding of how it's engaging with its customers through different types of content. So thanks for joining me today, Toral.
Thanks so much for having me.
So for us to get started, I'd love for you to give a quick overview, brief overview of the Kopari Beauty business, and then tell a little bit about your role within the organization as well.
Yeah, great. So Kopari Beauty is a leading clean beauty brand with clinically proven products where we combine high performance actives and nature's best ingredients together. The brand was launched in 2015, so we're almost at 10 years, which is really exciting. But when it launched, it really was a pioneer of clean beauty and personal care. And there weren't many brands out there doing that at that time. So we have a really unique brand DNA in that we deliver on both the promise of effective products that are clean and rooted in moments of paradise. So if you see our brand visuals, it's really about paradise and what the brand that's really what the brand embodies. We are an omni-channel brand, so we have several retail partners, including Ulta, and we have a thriving D2C business. So I actually at Kopari oversee marketing and D2C, where I'm responsible for building cohesive, data-driven, full funnel media strategies with my amazing teams. I love really that I can work on both sides of the business because I am so passionate about brand building, but then I also have that visibility into the commercial aspect through our own D2C. And so it's really about merging the impact of our strategies on commerciality.
Yeah, you're getting to see those results of your hard-earned efforts in the marketing sphere translated across that D2C sector, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's really about creating that test and learn strategy and taking all the learnings back to upper funnel down through full lower funnel as well.
So you mentioned Kopari's just a little bit under 10 years in kind of its lifespan so far, but it's really grown quite rapidly in that relatively short period of time, including recently. I think I saw a note that it had a 45+% sales growth in its most recent year, 2023. So I'd like to get your perspective, Coral, in terms of some of the factors you believe have attributed to that rapid growth that you're seeing at the brand.
Yeah, it's been a really, really exciting time. I think Kopari is an example of a brand that's reset its foundation. We've re-articulated who it's for, why we exist, and it's resulted in this amazing turnaround story. I think first and foremost, it comes down to product market fit. We have been listening to our customers very closely for years, and we've been launching new products that are resonating with customers. And I think the products that we launch are true innovation. And as a result, we've been successful in customer acquisition while also remaining very relevant to our existing customer base. And then, of course, at retail, we have a great relationship with our retail partners who have been so supportive of the brand and the products that we're bringing to market. And our strategies together are driving growth at retail. And then D2C, as I said, it's thriving. It's been incredibly successful, especially in the past couple of years. And I think it's really due to this culture of testing and learning and moving very quickly to understand our customer, understand how to acquire efficiently, and how to maintain a relationship with our existing customers to drive retention. So we're really balanced on both sides of bringing new customers in and managing our existing customer base.
I want to follow up a little bit about that product market fit, and then also kind of those new products that you're launching into the market, these innovative products. How do you kind of think about that in terms of new, in the brand's near and long-term growth? For example, as I was researching in advance of this interview, I was kind of looking at some of the new additions that Kopari has made to its sun care product line, which has really helped to capture increased market share in that specific category of the beauty sector. So, tell us a little bit about product and how it factors into what your kind of near-term growth strategy as well as further out.
Yeah, I'd say that new product innovation is really key to our strategy. Earlier this year, we introduced our latest and biggest campaign to date, and which we launched 4 new SPF sun care items to our portfolio. And the collection really is game changing and is a testament to our dedication to releasing products that haven't been seen before. We're not launching new products just for the sake of putting out a new product. We're really intentional about creating products that people love to use and are different than anything they've seen before. And, that speaks in the data that we are seeing. So last year, Kopari was the fastest growing prestige SPF brand in the US. And it was the number 2, we had a number 2 prestige body SPF brand, according to NPD. And what really stood out to us was that the prestige body sun care category, the entire category grew 77% versus the prior year, and Kopari alone accounted for half of that growth. So to us, that's telling us that customers want to buy into this category, but they really hadn't been able to find a product before that they wanted to use until we launched our innovation. So it's really that we have to be several steps ahead and anticipate and surprise our customers with our innovation. And that's really what makes Kopari a category defining brand. And that's how we think about all of our innovation. And that's just SPF. We also have had great success in body care and skincare. And I think the ability to traverse different categories really demonstrates our dedication to our formula innovation and our understanding and knowledge of our customer. We have category leading products in personal care with our clean deodorant, which has been on the market since 2016, 2017. And then in body care, we have top selling products such as body butter, which we launched several years ago, and Golden Aura body oil, which we launched last year. So while we're very focused on innovation and launching new products, we also have hero products that have been around for years that we continue to support and continue to drive that customer retention. So we're really thinking about it from all angles.
So product being one part of the equation, and you really explain that well. The other part being, and that product really can help to drive those long-term relationships. I want to talk a little bit, shifting gears about kind of the marketing side. And you mentioned you kind of have that dual role, which is interesting. And more specifically, talk about social influencers, because I know that's a huge part of what we're seeing in the beauty category. Kopari's kind of playing in that space as well. So tell us a little bit about the role that social influencers currently occupy in Kopari Beauty's overall marketing strategy.
Yeah, this is really exciting. Influencer marketing is a really significant part of our full funnel marketing mix. We manage all aspects of influencer marketing in-house. We really believe that the most fundamental pillar of our influencer strategy is authenticity. And in order to be authentic and build long-term relationships, we have to manage it all ourselves. And so we've been very focused on building a community of influencers that truly love Kopari and the products and the innovation we're putting out. So our goal is to build these authentic relationships that then translate to all of the content that's being posted, to the buzz that we're creating both online and offline. And when I say offline, think influencer and customer activations and experiences and partnerships. All of these different aspects of influencer really work together. And we do work with creators of all sizes to drive awareness, consideration, and conversion. So our paid media team and marketing teams work very, very closely together to work with a variety of creators so that we can understand the style of content that's working for awareness. That's different than the style of content that might work for conversion and acquisition. So we're always bringing new creators into the community, and we're always testing and learning, all while we are building this authentic community and those one-to-one relationships.
So as you think about bringing new creators into the community, What are some of the things that you look for? You talk about authenticity. What does that mean then for Kopari Beauty? Because these people are representatives of the Kopari brand. You want them to be aligned with your own values and what you stand for. So tell us a little bit about how you ensure that you're doing that when you target potential influencers to work with.
Sure. I mean, I think because we prioritize experience and performance with all of our products, we really start by providing the products to the creators, the potential creators that we're going to work with the products to try and use on their own. And we also want to make sure that they understand our brand identity and they're excited about the products that we're reviewing. So we always provide the products ahead of time and then we talk to them. We want to hear their feedback. If they truly love the products, then this will come across in our conversations to them and we'll continue the conversation. For us, honestly, what we want to be able to hear is how they describe their experience using the product. If they had an amazing experience, then this will come across, like I said, in the conversations, the content, and will lead to compelling ads or posts that they do on their accounts. And that's what tends to resonate with audiences, and it will lead to a stronger, longer term relationship.
How are you tracking back the content that your social influencers are producing? So maybe two ways we can handle this. One, first talk about the types of content they're producing, and then secondarily, maybe you can go into a little detail on how you're then measuring, tracking back how that content performs as it relates to driving conversion.
Sure. Yeah, it's very important to us, but Kopari as a brand and our content creators on both sides, we create diverse content. So from our creators, it's really important that we're seeing testimonials, get ready with me, tutorials for skincare, for SPF, product reviews, and content that's both aspirational yet approachable, and lifestyle imagery. And that's that we as a brand also take that same approach with all the content that we're creating. So it's really that diversity in content that's really important. And then in terms of tracking, we use tracking links, we use affiliate links, we track our search interest over time, and we use all of those factors to determine whether our influencer strategies are impacting awareness and interest. And then, of course, when we're using content in ads in acquisition, we have that direct line of sight to conversion as well.
Are there particular platforms that are performing better for you than others? I'd love to know as you evaluate, there's so many different ways that you can distribute this content, how you think about what platforms make sense for Kapari and how the content strategies may different depending on the platform that you're using.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a one size fits all anymore. And therefore we use a multi-platform approach. So we distribute content across TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. So our strategy really differs based on each platform's unique audience, the type of content that's native to that platform. So for example, we'll focus on that sort of aspirational aesthetic imagery and stories on Instagram. Versus on TikTok, we're really much more informal. We're looking at short behind the scenes style videos that drive virality. And, that's where TikTok is where we could be a little bit more fun, jump on a trend, show our team's personality. We really want people to get to know the brand behind the scenes. And TikTok is a perfect platform to do that. So it really does depend on the platform and the content that's native to it.
And then I would imagine for your own site, you're housing some of this content, I'm sure, on Kapari Beauty's website. Are you then thinking about, and I'm sure you're tracking and looking at, visitors to the site that are engaging with that type of content, how they're converting versus, traffic that doesn't engage with that content? I would think the more content you can produce, the more that you get consumers to engage with your visitors to engage with it, the more likely they are to convert. Is that kind of the mindset that you have in terms of your own website?
Absolutely. We have social native content on our product pages on our website, and we track the engagement on those videos and how it then drives conversion. So that's something that we're always reviewing, refreshing, and it's a great way to provide an influencer's point of view so that customers are seeing content outside of the brand's created content on the product page to help inform their purchase decision.
And then to your point earlier, that top of funnel, I would imagine that you get a lot of SEO benefit, right? By producing that content and hosting it on the Kopari Beauty site as well, right?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, with all the content that we create and with the campaigns that we're launching, we are tracking our search interest over time and trying to understand the impact of our activations and content and influencer campaigns.
So you've mentioned the kind of the growth trajectory has been, that Kopari Beauty has had over its existence has been strong. And you want to keep that momentum going, obviously. With that in mind, Toral, is there a consumer behavior or trend? Maybe it's one that's specific to the beauty category. Maybe it's not specific to the beauty category that you're most excited about and that potentially Kopari Beauty can really tap into and capitalize upon?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think we're increasingly seeing customers really want to invest in the products in their routine that are high quality, that are effective and intentional. So we're not creating something new. We're not innovating and putting out launches just to grab attention and be a quick fad and be a one and done. We launch innovation that's meeting a need. And like I've said multiple times, intentional. So we're constantly listening to customer feedback through conversations with customers, through reviews, talking to the influencer community. So to answer your question, we have exciting launches coming up that are meeting the needs of our customers. But for us, that's not a trend. It's always been a pillar of the brand ethos, and it'll continue to be as we grow and evolve.
And there's probably ongoing conversations and it's constant collaboration, right, between what your team is doing on the marketing side, the D2C house, but there's also merchant teams and the people that are working more closely with product on a daily basis. Tell us how that works as you think about, because you you want to make sure everything's aligned so that when you're coming to market with a new product, you're ready to go from a marketing perspective. Your website's able to handle that traffic. So how does that kind of all fall into place?
Yeah, I think that Kopari is really unique in that our team is extremely agile and flexible, and we work very quickly. And all of the teams really do communicate with one another really well. So when it comes to product development, I am very involved in those conversations. We are working with the product development team to pass back learnings that we hear and feedback that we hear from our customers. And that helps inform future strategies, whether it's packaging, formulations. It really is a highly connected team. And then you mentioned merchants. We also work very closely with our wholesale team to take learnings from what they're seeing in store and the field teams, and taking all of that feedback to inform the way we message, to inform, again, future innovation. So we really do think about in a product innovation by taking into account what we're hearing across all channels.
Well, it's evident that what you're doing is working, given the growth that Kopari Beauty has enjoyed, and I'm sure more great things still to come. I want to take the opportunity to thank Toral Patel, who is the Vice President of Marketing and E-commerce at Kopari Beauty, for joining me on this episode of Total Retail Talks and going over its brand story. So thanks for joining me, Toral.
Thanks again. Thanks so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.